Welcome back, everyone. Power Play Puck Season 2, Episode 2, revamped edition. We got a little sponsor today, Old Box Brewery. Vasa, you want to hold that up?
Yeah, let me just bring it up to the camera.
Indian Pale Ale by Dan Snyder. And it's rather fitting for our guest today, Jack Spicer from the Rockville, Maryland area. Currently plays in the USHL for the Waterloo Blackhawks and committed to University of Nebraska-Omaha. Jack, how are you doing? And like I said, sponsor kind of fits well for you. You want to talk about your thoughts on the recent selling of the Washington Commanders / Redskins?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan. Love the team. Love all the guys. But winning's coming soon. Winning is coming soon. So. New ownership, Josh Harris. What a great guy. I mean, day one of owning the team, calls into the bullpen and buys everybody drinks. Like
local Yathaz guy.
Like, come on.
Yeah, shout out to Field School. Really love. How are you doing? How have you been?
Pretty good. Me and Jacob just got back from some golf. Played evening 9 at Bethesda Country Club. Didn't go too well.
Yeah, how bad is Boss at golf?
Dude,
listen.
Dude, how bad am I at golf is the real question.
I'm not in the best state of mind right now because we played a little round of golf. We put some money on it. And Jack and I were playing with our buddy Zave Green. Shout out Zave for bringing us out to Bethesda. But I was leading through 8 holes. 9th hole, I was up by 1. And I choked the 9th hole, shot 5. Zave shot 3. He won. So
Zave shot 54.
I'm kind of pissed off about that. No, it was lower than that.
No, 54.
No.
Zave 55,
49.
me 56.
No,
49 for 8 holes though.
No.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have the goofiest golf swing you've ever seen?
No, I do. I do, bro.
All right, that's enough housekeeping. But it's good to have you on the pod, Jack. One of my closest friends. How we doing right now?
Pretty good. Just in the dog days of summer, I guess. We got like a month left till the season. Just kind of doing my thing in the week, skating, going home, sleeping, working out, and then sometimes golfing with an idiot like you. But
yeah,
fun times.
Who are you skating with during the summertime?
I skate with my goalie coach Anton Rosen out of the St. James.
Beauty.
Great, really good guy, really good goalie coach. But yeah, today I got the chance to skate with some of the Caps guys. John Carlson was out there too. So
not a big deal.
It's pretty fun to have him snipe on me for an hour.
Who else was out there? So you, Carlson.
Snively was there.
Landon.
Yeah. Sam Annis.
Landon.
And then Alexiev.
Russian.
Yeah.
Russian.
Not Landon.
No.
So did Alexiev hop out in a jumpsuit today? Was his girlfriend carrying his bag to the rink?
Oh no! And I actually just heard about that like an hour ago. I didn't know that whole story.
Micah told us a few days ago on the pod that he goes to say hi and he's wearing a full like Louis Vuitton tracksuit and his girlfriend's carrying his bag. How was your interaction with Alexiev today?
He's the only guy on the ice I actually didn't have an interaction with.
Sounds about
right.
What are those guys like on the ice? Like, is Carlson like pretty intense guy?
Honestly, not like. I think it might have been just like he's getting back into things like ending his summer, getting back on the ice, getting back like in the gym and stuff. But he was super laid back, like having fun, joking around, just enjoying himself out there. So it was pretty cool.
I was
just gonna say, you told me earlier how he just came up to you so casually. What happened?
Yeah, he just came up to me. He's like, "Something, man, I'm John." I was like, in my head, I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I've been watching you since I was like 8 years old." But
I feel like if you're on the ice and like you're the one getting shot by them, like you're like good enough to the point where like it has to be casual. Like at that point. So.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely really cool. Like
it is cool.
It is so cool. Like,
but for them, like they don't really like they're not here to like sign your autograph.
Yeah,
they're like we're trying to get better.
Yeah,
you're a good enough goalie where they're gonna like actually challenge you.
It's definitely really cool.
Have you heard of any other Caps guys coming to the Skates?
No, I got no clue. I'm just waiting to hear back from some of the guys about the schedule for the rest of summer, but I'm gonna try to get out there.
Are you in the Caps locker room at MedStar, or are you getting dressed in like locker room 5?
Today I was not, but then I was in there after the skate, just like figuring.
Did you get some autograph signed or no?
No.
He's too good. He's the one signing autograph. He was signing your autograph.
Yeah.
How many local Waterloo kids asked for your autograph this year?
Oh, dude, that's like the coolest.
Is that
part.
like every game?
Yeah. So the coolest part about being out there is like just like. You get recognized a lot because it's a really small town. So like the main, like I know Waterloo, if you search up like what to do in Waterloo, Iowa, the main attraction like that'll pop up is the hockey game.
That's how you sell junior hockey.
So like we'll do like events at like Shields where like we all sit down at a table and just like people come in and filter through.
What is Shields?
It's like
the coolest store.
It's Dick's Sporting Goods on steroids. Yeah. It's the coolest store you'll ever go to.
It's like a Midwest version of Dick's.
Yeah, but it's bigger and there's more stuff and they have like clothes there too. Like it's unreal.
It's like It's like a Dick's, Bass Pro Shops, and then like a mini mall.
Yes,
all mixed into one store.
Wow,
it's really cool.
That's good.
There's none in the Bethesda area.
No,
none of those.
No.
But anyway, we'll just run through it real quick. Like, we know you're from here. Like, where'd you start playing? How'd you get into the game?
Yeah, I mean, got into the game playing like Montgomery House League, cross ice when I was little.
We all started there.
Yeah. And then I played for Rob Keegan for a few seasons. Probably the most unreal coach I'll ever play for. Great guy. He's really good like coaching younger teams. And then I played for Team Maryland for 4 years. Made lifelong friends there. Really fun experiences. Too bad we could never win a championship. We had a curse for a little bit.
We did have a curse for a little while.
We had a curse for a little bit.
I've one just funny story about you. Before I even met you, I think we were probably like 5 years old at this point, and we were still playing like this was like some Montgomery travel, and it was still cross ice. And I was on the other team, and I saw this kid in goal, and he was wearing this goalie mask that had like bats on it, and was all
my God,
there were some other designs on it, and this kid was like really good at 5 years old. I was like, wow, I wonder who that is. And little did I know, he would end up being on my team next year. And we'd be friends for a little while.
That's when kids are like taping their sticks with like the flame tape. The Team USA
the skull tape.
The skull
tape.
tape.
They would tape their names on their blades.
Yeah. No, like with the white tape, like really like cut it out.
Yeah, I remember that on the other team it was you and Catherine Kramstov. Shout out Catherine, she's at Princeton right now.
There was a guy on our team all the way up like through the years from Montgomery to Team Maryland. I'm not gonna say his name, but his mom used to retape over his used tape. The tape would never come off the stick. His mom.
That has to get like heavy at some point. Like,
his stick blade is like inches thick.
Like how many times do you think she taped over it?
Who you got?
No. We gotta say it.
David Van Anderson.
So back-to-back shout-outs for DVI.
Once again, shout out David Van Anderson, you're the man. But fix your stick habits.
Micah said him and Cam are the two best linemates he's ever had.
Yeah, that was a really good line.
But wait, so I guess I've never actually had like in all these generations. Like, have you always started as a goalie, or did you play player first? Like, how did you shift into that, especially at age 5?
So you remember like in Montgomery House League where it's like everybody takes a turn playing.
Yes. So
like it was my turn to play goalie, and I ended up just loving it so much. Like we asked, like, can I just play goalie the rest of the year? And they were like, yeah. So then I just stuck with it.
That's crazy. Just like as soon as you played one game, you're like, yeah. This
Who knows what? Maybe they said no, and then maybe I become a player, and then I'm already in the NHL right now.
Oh no, I was gonna say you'd still be playing AA hockey.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe like a future Asha superstar like Vasa.
You never know.
So 4 years at TM, and then you went to Mount St. Charles for 15 years. How did that process, like, was it always going to be Mount that you were going to go to? Or?
No, so right when our Team Maryland season ended, so like I toured a few like prep schools, like traditional prep schools, but I wasn't really feeling it.
Where did you tour?
Like Kent, there was like 2 others I forget, and then I toured South Kent. And I was actually like 2 days away from signing my like whatever it was with South Kent, like committing to go there. And then Cameron O'Neill's dad was in touch with Mount because Cam had already been committed to go there and was like, hey, like check out this goalie, like Spicer, whatever. And then it ended up just working out. And 15-0 was a bit of a mess. Get there, the dorms aren't made yet. We're staying in a hotel, you know. It's a little rough on the school side, putting 80 hockey kids into a traditional school. A lot of behavior issues that first year.
And you guys at Mount, the hockey, it's like a regular school, but the hockey guys are the only ones to board.
Yep. The dorms are just for hockey players only, so it's definitely interesting. But yeah, played 15-0, which was fine. 16-0, which was really messed up because of COVID, didn't really get to play many games. And then 18-0, where, you know, I had a really rough start to the year. Didn't have my priorities set straight in a way. And then going into January, I got COVID. Me and Micah got COVID. just us two out of the whole team, and we got sent home, and I was like by myself in my basement for a week, and I like figured it out. Came back and went on like I didn't lose a single game all the way up to nationals. I had no more losses, and then obviously the nationals run was super cool. From being down with a minute left in an elimination game versus a team that's not good at all to 3 days later.
Dallas Stars, right?
Yeah, 3 days later winning it all was a really cool experience.
Yeah, so quickly, we ran through this with Micah, but from your experience, like, coming in that comeback game against Dallas to move out of the round robin, and then also playing that Shattuck team with Whitelaw, Iserman, Celebrini,
Yeah.
and then eventually St. Louis in the finals, which you guys dominated. You want to tell us about those, that process, those games?
Yeah, I mean,
From your perspective as a goalie.
So I'll go through both. So like from day one, first day in the locker room, our coach Matt Plant like sat us down. He was like, boys, April 4th, remember that date the whole year, and it was kind of like the belief in that group. Like it was the last original group from Mount. Like we had our last core group of guys, and we were like, we're gonna win this thing. Like we believe we were a team of destiny. So like, no matter what at nationals, from being down on the kill with a minute left versus Dallas, like I'm coming to the bench. Like I get pulled, I go to the bench, and I'm sitting there like I know we're gonna score. Like there was never a doubt in my mind. Same thing with BK. We're down 2-0, 10 minutes into the game. It's just like I remember our coach came in the locker room. Like we got outshot like 20-2 the first period. Our coach comes in and he goes, "They don't know what's about to hit him." Like he's not even mad, and like he would usually be freaking out. He comes in, he's like, "They don't even know," and then we never looked back after that one moment in that intermission versus BK. Like we went and played the best complete team hockey game versus Shattuck I've ever been a part of in my entire life. I mean, we played that team. We had no business beating that team. Like seriously, like we knew like everything had to go right for us to beat them, and we went out and beat them 7-2, which was just unbelievable. And then the finals game, we kind of just rolled over St. Louis.
You knew you guys were
not too much to say. Yeah, I mean, we were in the locker room before the game, like. We played this little game. Like everybody goes around and says a few things. I'm not going to get into the details of that. Probably not podcast appropriate. But yeah, the boys were not too dialed in for that game.
So we asked Micah last game or a couple days ago on the pod when you played against Shattuck, played against Celebrini, Iserman, 1 and 2 overall pick, Whitelaw 3rd round pick, all going to be NHL players. From his perspective, and he balled out that game. Didn't he have like 6 or 7 points? He said,
points.
And then you were an absolute stonewall. From a goalie's perspective, what is it like knowing these 3 guys all dropped 100 points during that year and are all going to go on to potentially play in the NHL or will play in the NHL? What is that like as a goalie?
I mean, going to that game, I was just excited. Like whenever I have a chance to get to play versus like a team that I know like is that freaking good, it just makes me more excited because it gives me a chance to prove myself and prove what I can do. But I come into the game like telling myself like, yeah, I'm gonna shut these guys down, and I know they're the best players I'm gonna play against my entire youth hockey career. So it's cool to be able to play against them and just be on the same sheet as them. But it almost keeps me on my toes a little bit. Like when I see William Whitelaw get the puck 200 feet down the ice, like in my head I'm like, this kid's about to get a shot.
You know he's gonna get a shot in the goal.
Like literally.
Really quick, take us back to the Dallas Stars game during the shootout when that one kid was coming down the ice and you made a pretty insane save.
Here, Vasa, put the clip in right here.
We can flip the clip in. It's an MS Films clip,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
All right.
MS Films.
Yeah.
We'll put the clip
You
in.
got the connection with
Yeah.
MS Films.
Yeah.
Y-Town, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, just shoot out. I mean, just got to compete. And I got dangled by this kid, Jacob McDonald, who I actually ended up playing with in Lone Star a week later. But he dangled me. I lost an edge, and I just fell back and made a really lucky save.
I think you're being a bit modest, but all right.
So you mentioned Lone Star. Do you want to talk about how that national championship transitioned into 2 weeks later, a week and a half later?
Yeah.
Brief stint at Mount just to hang out with the boys, and then you're back playing 2 games for Lone Star.
Yeah, so it was actually kind of really fast. So we won the national championship, got on a plane back that same day. Next morning, my advisor calls me. He's like, yeah, you're going to Texas. Like, the coach is going to call you. So I didn't really get any decision on this. Like, my advisor calls me. He's like, yeah, you're going to Lone Star. You're going to play. Like,
So you didn't even know where you were going?
Yeah, he's like, you're going to go to Lone Star. You're going to play. You're going to start for them next Friday or like whatever. So I was like, all right. So I get there on a Wednesday. Head coach isn't there. So, like, I have no clue what to do. So I just walk into the rink. Like, have no clue what's going on. I don't even have a spot in the locker room. Like, I'm like...
You're walking like, oh, my name's Jack. Nice to meet you.
I'm getting dressed in the dry stall area. And we get out there, and like I had an alright practice. Like I was really sick at the time. Like I got really sick after nationals, but then the next day we get out there and the head coach is there, and like I still have no clue what's going on. Like I'm getting lit up in practice. Like I'm like, there's no way I'm playing tomorrow, and we're doing a puck like a drill where it's like the forward rims a puck. Goalie stops it, D picks it up and breaks the puck out. And I couldn't stop it behind the net. Like I was so bad at puck handling. So after practice he comes up to me, he's like, "You're so bad at puck handling, dude. You're playing on Friday. Like you need to figure it out." So we stayed on for like an hour after, and he's just rimming me pucks, and I'm stopping.
Were you rattled when he told you that?
No, I was like, because he's like, "You're playing," so I was like so excited. I was like, "Wow, that's crazy."
It's a huge opportunity.
Yeah, no, it was really cool.
The Null South, the gritty.
Yeah, what was it like
Like
playing? I mean,
division of any league.
Yeah.
I know you were only there.
After the Null the Null gets really gritty over there.
Yeah.
I know you're only there for like a short period of time, but like, what was it like playing in the Null South, like known as like a really gritty league? I know they have a good fan base.
Yeah, I mean,
They get rowdy over there.
Yeah.
especially because like I was like super young to be playing juniors at the time. Like I remember making a save and I look up and like there's a guy right there and he looks like he's a 30-year-old man. And I'm just like sitting there like.
Was your game at home?
Yeah, we had my first.
So the
two games
TCU
were at home.
TCU boys pull up to that game, probably a little
yeah.
hammer,
Yeah,
a little wild up.
It actually it gets pretty loud in the shoebox.
Dollar beers night.
Yeah.
How many fans does Lone Star get on like a nightly
Like
basis?
2,000, but it's not a full
Yeah.
stadium. Like it's just one side. So.
Oh, so it's packed.
Yeah, I mean when they pack it gets pretty loud. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. All right. Well, so after Lone Star, what was kind of your process going from there? Because it's kind of an interesting story. You didn't.
Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, so this was really weird. So once I was in Lone Star and I got the games played, like I was like, wow, like this is where I want to play. Great coach, like great team, great defense. Like this is a great place to be a goalie at. So I then, while I was still there, got drafted by Waterloo, but they had taken a goalie ahead of me, so I thought that I was kind of just a shot in the dark with them. So I was like, all right, I got to find a home in the Null. So we talked with Lone Star, and they were like, look, we're out of tenders. Like, we'd love to tender you. Like, you could be the guy for us next year. Like, they had Arthur going back, so it'd be like me and him.
Arthur Smith, right?
Yeah, that would be
Where's he playing?
Princeton.
Princeton, yeah.
Nicest guy you'll ever meet. Shout out Arthur. But yeah, so then he was like, yeah, we'll draft you. Like, obviously we'll draft you early, but if you make Waterloo, we're not going to draft you until later. So what ended up happening was, of course, the last day of Waterloo main camp is the day the Null draft happens. So I'm sitting there waiting for my exit meeting, watching the first round of the draft like unfold, and I'm like trying to get in there. So I get into my meeting. You made the team. Come back for training camp, whatever. I get out. I call the coach. I'm like, all right, I made the team. But he's like, yeah, I'm still gonna draft you third round. Blah blah blah. And then like the pick before Lone Star, the Minnesota Wilderness take me. So I'm just like sitting there in the car driving.
Now you're like, shit, I have to make
So yeah, I didn't have like any connection there. For all I knew, like I could have gone there and they could have been like, yeah, you suck, like get out of here and sent me somewhere else. So
at least at Lone Star you knew you have like a home.
Yeah,
like a
so
nice
I was really betting on Waterloo. So I went out for training camp.
This was last summer, right?
Yep, I went out for training camp as the third goalie. Wasn't supposed to make the team. They didn't buy me any gear, anything. The goalie that I was competing with had gear bought for him. And then I ended up making it. And then
The rest is history.
yeah, the rest is history. Had a really fun year, got a lot of opportunity to play, and I'm really excited for next year too.
So what was the development like once you got there? Was it different from the Null? Was it?
Yeah, it is such a step up from the Null, in my opinion. Just like on a day-to-day basis, like we just show up to the rink at least an hour and 15 before. Like we have our strength trainer there on a daily basis, like writing stuff down on the board for us to do before practice, making sure our body's all right. Like after practice, there's stuff on the board for us to do. Like if you have any issues with your body, he'll give you separate little workouts to do. Like just there's a lot of resources for you. So it's hard to go wrong there. It's really hard to go wrong. And I had an unreal goalie coach in PD Melgoza who I got to work with every day there, which really helped me.
That's good.
So I guess you're talking about like getting your body right, make sure you're in tip-top shape.
Yeah.
your starter ended up missing some time, so you ended up getting 34 games in this year. You were talking about like you probably didn't expect that going into the season.
Yeah.
How did you prepare for that? How that like kind of like progressed your development this season?
Yeah, so going into the year, I looked down the calendar and I was like, all right, I'd be happy with like starting 15 games this year. Because I remember like right when I made the team, my goalie coach sat me down. He's like, dude, you're not going to play for maybe 2 months. Like, you're not where you need to be. We're going to develop you. We're going to do this, this, and this. And when you're ready to play, I'll play you. Like, it's straight up and simple as that. So I remember like a month and a half later, I came into the rink and we were playing Sioux Falls, who was actually pretty good at the time, the next day away. And he pulls me into his room. He's like, yeah, you're starting tomorrow. And I remember, like, my heart dropped. I was like, that was the most nervous I've ever been in my life.
In front of 10,000 fans.
Yeah.
So more nerves this time than opposed to other times, which was more excitement.
Yeah. This is my first game. I only got 4 shots in the first period, and I was literally, like, shaking so much.
Would you say you were more nervous for that game or the national championship game?
That game, 100%. That was the most nervous I've ever been for any hockey game in my entire life. Like, by far. But yeah, so then, obviously, my goalie partner, Emmett Crotto, unbelievable guy. He's one of my closest friends, went down with an injury for like a month and a half. So I had to step in and play every game. And, you know, it was really fun, but it was rough. Like, there were days where, like, obviously you're just not going to feel it. You need to get the extra work in. So it was nice. It was nice because our coaches are so understanding of that. And, like they're like, hey, like, if you need this, like, skip this drill, don't do this rep, like, whatever. So it's nice that they're understanding about that, and that makes Waterloo like just all so much better experience as well.
So your goalie goes down, you start however many games in a row, and then you got a pretty special email about a certain game that you were invited to play, and talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I remember first day back from winter break, I walked into the rink and my goalie coach was like, congrats, and I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? He's like, you made the BioSteel game. And, like, he always, like, plays jokes like that. Like, he's like a jokester. Like, he's always going to try to get in your head because that's just what he does. And so, like, I, like, shook it off. I was like, oh, like, whatever. Like, you're so funny, you know. And then 2 days later, I got an email and, like, I opened my phone. It just says, like, BioSteel All-American game. And I was like, oh, my God, he's not joking. So, yeah, that was really cool. I was lucky to be a part of that. They flew me and 2 of my teammates out. I remember we played Saturday night and Sunday morning at 2 a.m. we were in my car driving to the airport, so not the best turnover, but yeah, really cool experience. We got there that day, got a ton of like cool like clothes and merchandise. Did some fitness testing, some media stuff, and it was cool. Like for me, that like the hockey game was really cool to be a part of. Like it's cool to have that on your resume, but like. It was just really cool to be around all those guys, like Ryan Leonard, Will Smith, all those 05 guys that are now first-round NHL draft picks. Like, it's cool to be around them and see what they do on a daily basis and just see how they are as people as well.
Yeah, I mean, playing that game, you're playing against all top first-round draft picks and then continuation to they can be, like, the top recruits for college hockey. Yeah. It's televised on the NHL Network. I'm pretty sure like Kevin Weeks, shout out Breaking News, is on the call for that game. Every NHL scout's there. Like
it's kind of the most heavily scouted single game.
Yeah. I mean, it's on NHL Network. It's like I'm pretty sure I watched it after I got home from class. It was like a 3 or 4 o'clock game. Yeah. I guess run us through that experience. Like who'd you meet in terms of like. Who'd you talk to, either like players or other guys? That was like kind of like a new experience for you.
Yeah. For the most part, like it all moves so fast. Like you don't really get to get like that close with anybody. But I know I talked to Whitelaw a good bit, just because we kind of
shout out Whitelaw, one of the OG.
We kind of had that like unspoken rivalry from the Mount Shattuck stuff. Yeah, and then like the goalies like Fowler. I've known Fowler since. For a very long time. So like I hung out with him and then like the other goalies a lot. It was cool. Like I got to meet Augustine and Musser and Chambray and I mean it's just cool to see like those guys are so good. It's cool to see like just how professional they are as well. It's all a cool experience.
Who do you think were the best skaters in that game? I'm sure we're all curious to see it because we got like Will Smith went 4th overall, Leonard went 9th overall, Perreault went like 19th, 18th overall.
No, he went like 23rd.
But Oliver Moore was there. He went 19th. Like players like that.
It's hard to like notice. It's really hard to notice because it's just one game, and you're so focused on like yourself and making sure you're doing like what you're doing, that you don't really get the chance to sit back and like watch and be like, oh, like there's Will Smith. Like wow, like what a play, whatever.
Well,
like,
you noticed Will Smith at one
yeah,
point.
I noticed Will Smith. I'm pretty sure he had a hat trick. So I noticed him.
Safe to say you noticed Will Smith.
Yeah, that's about all I can notice. But I mean, you could just tell like it was that much faster than a USHL game for sure. Like the pace was unbelievable.
I thought you had a question.
No, you go.
So tell us who were the fastest or players that were hardest to deal with as a goalie in the USHL this year.
Whew. That's actually a really, really good question.
Fastest as in like what? Just like fast.
You
player?
can
best
count your
shots,
teammates too,
or,
like who on your team.
Yeah,
would've
well,
been-
no. Actually, let's do
Wow.
let's do on your team and then not on your team.
Okay.
Or is this like the scariest guys? That
Yeah,
would,
the
like,
scariest-
Come down with the puck like.
Scariest guys as a goalie to face.
So we'll start with Waterloo. Ooh, that's really tough. Got Miko Matika, third rounder to Arizona. I mean, I think he's got his shot is just like we do power play in practice, and he's always in like that OV1T spot.
The
Like,
office.
when he winds it up, like I'm scared to go down, but
You're gonna have to brace yourself.
I like raise my shoulders and like clench my chin because I don't want to like get hit up like in the collarbone or anything. Like I'm so scared.
He was on Madison to start the year, and then
Yeah.
he traded to Waterloo.
Yeah.
Right?
Waterloo made a lot of trades, right?
Yeah. Shifsky, really good player, really fast, great leader. I really liked him. Ben Robertson,
Shout out Benny.
absolute playmaker, super good defensively. And then of course you gotta give it to Renzel. I mean the guy is
How
six.
hard is his shot? Like, is it cannon?
It's
No.
actually not a cannon at all.
Really?
It's just what makes him so good is the fact that he's 6'6" and he's a 6'6" D-man, but he's a skill guy. Like he can do it all.
He
Like,
skates well for his
like
height.
he can hit guys, but like he skates well. Like he has really good hands. Like it's unbelievable.
So if he kind of pans out in the NHL, which might
He
take
went
a little
what,
while,
25th overall to
Yeah.
Chicago
Yeah.
last year,
Yeah.
going to Minnesota.
which might take a little while, he'll be kind of like a unicorn of sorts in the NHL because no one really sees a skilled
Yeah.
NHL defenseman at 6'6".
yeah.
That's why he went so high in the draft, especially out of high school too.
All right, so you got Waterloo. Who were
Yeah.
some other guys in the USHL that you were noticed
Yeah.
when they came down on
Gotta
you?
give it to Celebrini.
Yeah.
Like, I remember we played them.
Does he live up to the hype?
Yeah,
Really? Is that good?
So we played him once, and I remember like he had a power play goal on me 5 minutes in the game. Where like pass to him in the slot, and like I push out to him, I'm on my feet, and the guy just like he's just like so like deceptive, like unreal fake shot. I go down, and he literally just walks right around me and rips one. So
Yeah.
not much you can
I
do.
think he's had the best 16-year-old USHL season of all time.
Yeah.
Like better than Jack Hughes,
Yeah.
better than Fantilia. Like, I mean, it's what he was able to do was absurd.
So who else do you have?
Knuble, really good. You're always gonna notice him when he gets a puck. Just
He had a really good year.
it's just crazy
Got
how,
himself drafted.
especially with his size, how good he is to continue to hold the puck and his patience and just his shiftiness. And he's just really, really good hockey player.
That line was crazy.
Yeah. I gotta think for a sec.
He was on Fargo,
Fargo.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He played with Swanson and Link.
Yeah. Palatichuk on Fargo, really good.
Stud.
Really good at the point.
Did you play CR at all?
Yeah, I played CR
Pole camp.
I played them twice. Yeah, pole camp. I mean,
Oh, that kid's shot you were talking about?
Rig. Yeah, that guy can shoot the puck for sure. Just going down the list here. Dubuque, St. Louis was a really good player. St. Louis was a very good player. He scored a
Brown commit. That's huge for
scored a
them.
game winner on me with like 10 seconds left once. I was not happy that game, to say the least. Sioux City, Ryan Conmey, local guy, super noticeable. He's unbelievable on the power play. Just had his scoring touch.
Yeah, we might have to get him on the podcast. He kind of had an out of nowhere year for
He
that.
did.
got himself drafted to LA this year.
Yeah.
Didn't he have the first 2 goals at their camp in the scrimmage?
I guess.
I don't know.
He's a big player too, right?
But,
Is he pretty tall?
Yeah, he's about 6'5".
Yeah.
All right. So before
That's so funny.
before we wrap up your time in Waterloo so far, talk about your playoff run and what you guys did there.
Well, not much happened there. Well, it was a bummer too because our team was so good. Like, ended up just not working out. So we lost. So we had a first round bye, and then we lost to Lincoln in the second round in Game 3 of a best of 3. We played on Friday night and lost like 6-1, and that game was just brutal. I mean, the refs ruined the game on a goalie interference call when it was tied. Saturday night we bounced back and like destroyed them like 6-1. And I remember I'm on the bench, so I wasn't playing in the playoffs, and I remember I'm on the bench, and we scored with like 2 minutes left, and I'm sitting there like chirping Dougie Grimes and Jeremy Yavash, like the two scariest guys on that team. Like I remember I'm sitting on the bench, and Yavash is like right next to me because in Waterloo it's just like a glass that separates the two benches. And I look over and Yavash is like yelling at me, and like I'm sitting there like I'm so scared. I'm like, yeah, let me just go to the other side of the bench because he's a big guy. He's scary, but I respect him too. He's a pretty good player, but yeah, and then we lost the game 3 on a Sunday afternoon, 2-1 or 3-1 with an empty net. So it was really, it was tough to see just be with the guys in the locker room after that. A lot of guys were going to college, so it's never fun to be in there. It's never fun to lose. So, we'll have some unfinished business for next year.
So I guess before we go into this summer, what you've been doing, and then into next year, also this past year you committed to college. You want to run us through that process?
Yep.
Why Nebraska-Omaha? Like what else were you going through?
Yeah, so I ended up talking to, it really came and went so fast. Like I started,
when did the process start for you?
It started right after nationals. I talked to a few schools, but then it died down up until after 5 games in the USHL. I started talking to schools. I think I ended up talking to about, I want to say 15 schools from beginning of December to the end of January when I committed. So I ended up touring Omaha on a random Sunday at, I think it was 8:30 a.m. just right before I had to catch a flight from Omaha back to Washington, D.C. for winter break.
Is this right after you played the Lancers or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I had already been in contact with them a lot, and I really liked it. I loved the coaches, but what really popped out to me was the rink, of course, really, really cool facility, but also just I'm into the smaller campus, and it's really cool at Omaha. Hockey's the top thing there.
They pack it.
Yeah. It's cool to
when people don't really think about University of Nebraska-Omaha when they think of college hockey, but they're actually a top 25 team. They've got really good facilities.
It's cool because obviously hockey's prioritized there as a school, so it's cool to be a part of that because you get treated really well, and that was a big part to my decision. And then the coaching staff
really
as well.
Good conference too to play in. Great competition. Gonna get a lot of looks there.
Yeah, when you're playing versus North Dakota and Denver. And so many good teams in that division. It's tough to turn something like that down.
So did the coaching staff have any implications on your decision, or was it really just a lot of the facilities in the school?
The coaching staff definitely had a big part in my decision. I had multiple Zoom calls with them, and they got my parents on a Zoom when they offered me, and it was just so many great conversations, and it's nice to it's nice to have the mutual interest, to feel that it goes both ways, and that's what kind of played into my decision as well. And I remember I just woke up, I had two solid games back to back one weekend, and then I woke up on Sunday morning and I was like, what am I waiting for? I don't have any reason to wait, so I decided to make the decision.
During your commitment process, before you committed, what other notable schools were you looking into relatively, hard?
I would say North Dakota, Penn State, and Ohio State were some of the notable ones. All really cool spots as well.
Yeah, those are 3 of consistently the best teams in the country. So for you to choose Nebraska-Omaha, it must have been a really special fit.
Yeah.
Really, think it's a place that you can develop into the next level as a goaltender.
Yeah, it is. I'm really excited about it. I think it's a great opportunity.
Are you after you finish your college career, hoping that everything goes well, what are you looking for after? Or are you looking at anything after your college career?
Yeah, everybody wants to play pro hockey, but you just have to take it one step at a time. So honestly, right now, all I'm focused on is having another good year in Waterloo and then making that step to college. I'm not even looking that far ahead in time quite yet.
Yeah,
how's Waterloo looking next year? You guys gonna make a run?
Yeah.
That didn't sound too
No, I don't want to get too into it, but all I can say is I think we're gonna make a run next year.
I think off camera we were talking about because Ethan was at a bunch of the Y-Town parties.
Yeah.
And you're like, just wait till I tell you my Calder
Yeah,
Cup
that's
story.
what I said. I said
Clark Cup.
this time next year I'll be back telling some crazy Clark Cup stories. You know, we have a great group coming back, but the one thing that sticks out to me the most is the leadership, in my opinion. We have Miles Hillman, who's playing in his 5th year of juniors. The most, crazy.
Yo, my condolences.
The greatest guy ever. Like he was born to be a leader. And then you got guys like Griffin Erdman, who I think is going to make a huge step this year, but not only as a player, but as a leader as well. Connor Brown, 3rd-year guy, also a very, very good player. I think he'll be a leader as well. I don't know.
I'm sure you got some good young guys.
Yeah, I'm excited about our group. Honestly, I don't know too many of the new guys well yet, but I'm excited to get there in September and start getting to work with everybody.
All right, folks, you heard it here first. Waterloo Blackhawks 2024 Clark Cup champions.
I bet Micah didn't say anything about Sioux Falls. Micah doesn't care about that.
No, we're just kidding.
Until Ethan takes another year off for college, shoots up a couple games for Y-Town. Something to do about it. Wait till we'll get you in the pod next time. Like scary guys you face. You're like sneaky Ethan Goldman on the right point, like for a shot for Y-Town. You never know. But I guess you don't leave for Waterloo now for another month. You were there at Waterloo a couple weeks ago for the goalie camp.
Yeah, but I just went to coach for a little bit.
Great guy. Good guy, loves the game, tries hard, gives back to the community.
I'm giving back.
You're giving back.
But I guess let's go over this summer. You still have a month before you head back. Some things. You played in the DMV3's league that Micah talked about. As a goalie, playing against the top skaters from the DMV area. Kind of talk about your experiences in that.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, my team never played defense, so I got the most shots every game. Literally, our game plan, Micah comes up to me before every game. He's like, we're not playing defense. We're just going to score. So, yeah, it's fun. I mean, it worked out.
Which they did. They did do that.
Tough loss last night in the finals in OT. 5-4, lowest scoring game in the history of the league, actually.
Shout out Team Blackford beating Team Blue.
Yeah, shout out Stephen Holiday for staying on the ice the last 8 minutes of the game. I mean, that can't be allowed. I don't know.
I don't think they have a rule about that, but
gonna have to implement a shot clock for ice time next year, something like that.
Only for Holiday.
Yeah.
And then the NHL, like random Instagram accounts are like, let's get like a shot clock in there. It's like, we can test it in the DMV3.
Little guinea pig.
Little guinea pig action.
Any other guys besides Holiday who you thought, you're kind of scared to see their shot?
Yeah, I mean, Sam Annis.
Landon.
Not only does he have
Every time I talk about Landon, I'm just going to mention they went to Landon, not St. John's, not St. Albans, none of those schools.
Sam Annis, not only does he have in my entire life, by far the most deceptive shot I've ever faced. His shot's is literally a saucer pass, but it's such a quick release. It's like a saucer pass, but it's so fast too, and you just can't figure out where it's going.
I can't painting corners too.
I can't read his stick. He's an unbelievable person. He's such a good guy. And then Joe Snively was out there as well. Really good players. I mean, played in the NHL, 10, 15 games this year, so.
Yeah, so I guess outside hockey this summer, you got a month left, so we got a Momo's or Tommy Joe's run on the horizon.
Commander's preseason.
Commander's preseason game on the horizon. I mean, we got to talk about the team, Dan Snyder. We got to talk about UH and Nantucket. It's like So they got some good stuff this summer.
Yeah. So kind of laid low. I believe I laid low from the end of my season all the way until Nantucket. I went to Nantucket with a lot of the boys. If you don't know what Nantucket is, it's an island. It's an island right off Massachusetts / Rhode Island.
I think most of the people know what Nantucket is, but
yeah, I mean, some people I tell don't know what it is. Yeah, it is. In a lot of the guys' opinions, best place on earth, but my opinion.
Clearly have not been to Dewey Beach.
Starboard
runner. Not get this guy started.
Rusty runner. The Bali Cork. Shout out the Yotel. The chicken box. Okay, the chicken box is not compared to the hotel. To Dewey Beach.
Sure.
Sankaty Head Golf Course, Kennerson is nowhere near Rehoboth Country Club. Okay, it's not.
What's that lake called?
Silver Lake.
Silver Lake. Yeah.
Silver Lake is better than the whole Atlantic Ocean. There's no debate. shout out the Morgan residents, Sussex. Like it doesn't get better than
we've
that.
got enough shout outs
Like,
here.
I mean,
All right, you
most
talked
magical
a
place.
little bit about the Commanders before. I know you're a hockey guy, but you also like the Commanders a lot.
Yeah, I mean, in my lifetime, I've definitely been a hockey fan over football, but the past 2 years, I've followed the Commanders more than anything. I mean, I love it. I love watching NFL. I love, especially in the USHL, because you don't really play on Sundays. I love to be able to sleep in, wake up, and just put Red Zone on.
7 hours.
I got my computer out with my 3 fantasy teams. I'm just watching, like freaking out at the TV, just enjoying life. No worries. But yeah, I mean, Commanders should have been in the playoffs, but Ron Rivera made the worst decision in the history of the organization to start Carson Wentz over Heineke. I mean, Heineke, the guy loves the game. It's must win versus Cleveland, and Heineke, like team player, everyone wants him to play, and you're just so ignorant enough to put Wentz in.
I think the worst part about it is like,
and then he's just horrible.
Knowing that Howell starts the next game against the Cowboys and wins, they're just like, oh, we were half a game back from making the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, but you're never gonna play Howell that game.
Yeah, but
How
let's hope Howell's the future.
No, I don't want Howell to be the future.
You want
I'm honest.
Go 0-17, draft Caleb Williams.
So if Howell breaks out, it's unreal because Eric Bieniemy, unbelievable.
It's like a win-win situation. I just don't want to be 500 again.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like
the past 3 years, 8-9 or whatever.
8-1 last year. The only team to literally get perfect 500.
Yeah.
Like, it's absurd.
Like this morning on Twitter, I saw like Sam Howell practicing the Mahomes underhand pass. Like if Eric Bieniemy works him into some crazy offense and it ends up working out, then he's the guy.
He's a ceiling though. He's not going to be a top quarterback. If
we get 10 wins this year, I'm sold on him.
Yeah,
I either want 10 or more or below 3. And then we tank for Caleb Williams. That's what we need.
Yeah, we either make the playoffs or get us Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's
that.
DMV guy.
I'm not about this 8-9, 7-10.
I mean, my Pats are stuck in a 500 for the next.
This kid says my pass, but then pulls up to the bullpen when Josh Allen gives everyone beers with the Darrell green jersey.
What do you think about Forbes?
Manuel Forbes, dude. Manuel Forbes, he's a ball hawk. He's a better.
He weighs less than I do.
He's a better version of Trayvon Diggs because he can actually cover.
I don't know.
He can actually cover.
I wasn't a fan of the pick. I thought if we're there, take Gonzalez, and I knew they liked. I knew they liked Forbes. They could have got him at 25. Like trade back, get an extra pick, like make that gamble and get him at 25. Like that was my take on it. I don't think he was even projected to be a first rounder, but.
I mean, he had the most pick six in college football. I mean, he'll be good. He'll be good. I actually went.
They can put some weight on it.
Yeah,
I didn't tell you this, but I went to training camp on Saturday, and he looked really good.
Really,
Quan looked really good. So that whole secondary was balling out. Howell, he could have shot because everything I hear, every single thing I'm hearing on Twitter
is he's so good.
But I guess the one day I don't pull up, and Jake Fromm is leading the ones at one point. I'm like, okay, we'll see. Go Dogs, but yeah.
Anyway, as we can see, we have some major Commanders fans.
Yep.
But
Who do you like, Vasa?
I'm just a football fan. I'm gonna cheer for the hometown team.
What a break! We went to the Commanders game.
Yeah, especially after.
Did you guys see my mom at the Skins game?
I don't know.
The Giants game, and it was 20 degrees outside.
All right. How about the pass interference call?
That was never called.
That's gotta be. We scored touchdown first off some stupid formation call. And you remember that they called it back or something?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Wait, was it Curtis Samuels was getting hold?
Yeah. I remember that.
No, we scored too. Remember we scored?
Yeah. I'm talking about the
holding call.
The holding call in the fourth down.
It's ridiculous.
Curtis Samuels, you have a photo of him getting held.
If we win that game, we're in the playoffs. Because Heineke's that's your guy. You know he's gonna start every game. We're gonna beat that Browns team.
All right, well,
I love it. All I remember is
he's got a lot.
He's better than Mac Jones.
Mac Jones sucks too.
All I remember is we're sitting there on a Sunday night, me and him watching Heineke play, and then I go to the Caps game the next day on Monday, and I get it, Monday off day in the NFL, whatever. But Heineke's preparing for the next week. He's at the game. And he's in a box, and you can see, and they put him on the
beers.
Yeah, he's shotgunning beers, just 2 beers, pouring them on him, going crazy.
Was that the game before Ovi?
They either won it or lost in OT. I think it was versus
Detroit. That was the Detroit game. So
they won in OT.
And then a couple days later
was the Ovechkin.
Because we saw each other that game.
That was probably the coolest hockey game I've ever been to.
Really?
Yeah.
JH and I went to that game. I remember that.
He will.
When
That
he
was
broke
one of
the goals
Gordie Howe.
for second all time.
He will get 894.
What?
And
Second
I
all time, third
cannot
all time,
wait
fourth
to
all
see
time. What
that.
is he right now?
He's second.
He's second.
Yeah, we can talk about that for a minute. What guys in the NHL do you like to watch? Like, I mean, goalies and not.
Oh yeah, I mean Ovechkin. Ovechkin's my favorite.
He's the greatest hockey player of all time. He's better than Gretzky.
He's
better
the
than
best
Crosby.
goals.
Better than Lemieux.
He's the
better
best.
than
He's the
Yager,
best goal
better-
scorer of all time for sure. But I wouldn't stretch that far.
Shout out Merck if you're listening to this. Just play that clip back.
Yeah.
He knows. We talked about this.
No, but what? I don't know how if you model your game after any NHL goalies or anything. Do you watch the NHL really closely? Because I know you're a big NFL fan.
Yeah.
Do you like the NHL as much or?
I mean, I'll throw hockey on at night, like before I go to bed. Like I enjoy watching. Like I'll throw on like the third period because I just like watching it once it gets intense. Like I'll just pick a close game to watch. But yeah, I definitely watch and I'll learn like little things from all the goalies. But growing up, I was a huge Jonathan Quick guy. So when I was younger, I'd just be sliding around the splits, like diving for pucks. But
Third cup for him this year.
as of recently, I started modeling my game a little more after Jeremy Swayman with the help of my goalie coach because he trains him in Alaska. So yeah, I've kind of we watch a lot of film on him and kind of try to keep the same tendencies as him because
He just got a bag this morning
like,
or
no, like,
yesterday.
it was like 2 hours ago.
Yeah,
I
a couple
think.
hours
It was a
ago,
good
just got a
contract.
bag.
It's a
Yeah.
good contract.
That's pretty-
I think it's pretty good.
Pretty good. I know we're about to finish up, but do you have any funny stories either from Mount St. Charles or Waterloo?
Ooh. So I say we save the funny stories for like 10 years down the line. Once
Anything that we
That's
can
fair.
talk about?
I say we save the funny stories.
Anything we can talk about?
I guess I could share the story of me going into OT in a game in the playoffs in the Null, and if we win it, it would have advanced us to the Final Four in Blaine. So we're in New Mexico, Game 4 of a best of 5, and we're up in the series. So if we win, we go to Blaine, and I mean the team was so good. That Lone Star team was so good. So Arthur Smith was in net. I was backing him up all playoffs. He's great goalie, great person. I love playing with him. Like he from day one getting the Lone Star, like he really kind of helped me settle in. But they scored to tie it up with a minute left, and after they scored, one of the guys ran into Arthur and he falls back and hits his head, gets a concussion, and I go in.
And you're cold.
And like I'm cold.
You were expecting to play.
I can recall, like, I remember in Lone Star, we had this big snack bin, right? So, like, in the intermissions, I'm, like, scarfing down Cheez-Its, I'm, like, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, fruit snacks.
Uncrustables or, like, homemade? That's what I need to know.
Uncrustables, I assume.
No, we went homemade.
Homemade.
Homemade, we had the local
Those
bread.
are the important
Those
questions.
are the important
Uncrustables or
questions.
homemade?
Yeah.
Those are the important
I mean, if I could
I'm
choose...
pretty out on Uncrustables in general.
Really?
Just
It's
saying.
If I
top
could
5
sh-
snack.
That is
Yeah,
absurd.
yeah,
That's an
yeah.
outrageous thing.
Top 5.
No, I don't know what my number one snack would be, though. It's gotta be, like, ooh... gotta be
Flavor
goldfish.
blasted gold.
Yes. It's
I
gotta
was
be-
going to say goldfish or cheese. I really like cheese.
You gotta in your top 5, you gotta include something like buffalo, like the thin pretzels?
Those are really
They have the
yeah.
buffalo chicken flavored. Those are
really
so.
good.
All right, so back to the story.
Combos.
Back to the story.
If
So
it's a pretzel, has to be chocolate covered or like vanilla covered
No,
pretzels.
no,
Those
no,
are
no.
those are what's
Combos,
good.
the buffalo combos.
Yep.
are
So
legit.
so I go in for the third, like whatever, 1 minute left. I'm so scared. So I get to settle in the intermission, and I played good in OT for like the first 10 minutes. Like played good, like made my saves that I should have, and then they get a penalty shot, and like I get absolute penalty shot. Like I remember like skating to the corner and like all these fans are like banging on the glass like trying to imitate me, and I'm sitting there just like smiling. I'm like, yeah, this would happen to me. And in my head, like I was like laughing because like penalty shots were my thing, so I was like, yeah, I'm saving this. Like I thought for sure I was gonna save it. The kid like comes in, dangles me, buries it, and like I was so mad. I just remember like I'd never been ripped more by a coach than I did there. Like
What happened?
he like came in the locker room and he's like, he's like, should have poke checked him, like all this stuff, like some PG-13 stuff. But
So BJ, you can curse on this if you want.
But I remember he had to settle down quickly because he realized, he's like, yeah, well, this guy's gonna have to play in our must-win game or else our season ends. He's gonna have to play in 2 days, which is also crazy that we have to take a 10-hour bus ride home through the night and then we have to play the next day at noon or like whenever it was. So he ended up calming down, realizing like, all right, it's not like probably not
It's
this
a penalty shot,
guy's
like,
fault. So And I remember being so scared that he was gonna like try to find another goalie, and I was just not gonna play the last game.
Just find another goalie.
Yeah, like I don't.
In Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah.
So
The TCU club goalie,
So-
the Asher
so
goalie
fun.
from the Horned Frogs.
The funny story is our emergency backup for me, who I was also considered an emergency backup, so we're dressing 2 emergency backups, but he was the Dallas Stars goalie that I played against in the shootout. He was the only goalie.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, we ended up going out and losing 1-0, and like in my head I was like, wow, this is the biggest game I've ever played, and like if I win this, like this is unreal, like help the team get to Blaine, and we lost 1-0. So I mean, it sucked, but at the end of the day, when you lose 1-0, there's not much you can say to the goalie. So it was fun to kind of be with the guys those next 3 days after we lost. Like we all like hung out and had a really good time. I remember we went to the casino one night up in Oklahoma, where it's the gambling age there is 18, so all the guys could go. So it was a fun experience. And then I went back home and just for a week, and then went to Mountain, just enjoyed life for a little bit.
That's good. You were talking about snacks before. I mean, we
have to end on this debate for sure.
Yeah, we will. I gotta get thinking.
Now I got one more question. So Jordan, Kobe, and I, Kobe's off camera, are currently ranking the 100 best prospects in the NHL.
Oh boy.
No, we're not gonna ask you that. Top 5 goalies in the NHL.
In the NHL.
In your opinion.
Oh,
that's a
come
good
on.
question.
That's so hard. That's so hard. Can you like pull up elite prospects or something, like save percentages? All right.
Set that up, Austin.
I'm not gonna rank 1 through 5, but I'll go top 5. Gotta include Shesterkin. I love Shesterkin. He's such a quiet goaltender. Gotta include Vasilevsky. I mean,
he's the guy you want for one game. You want Vasilevsky.
If the question is if your team is in the Stanley Cup Finals Game 7, who do you want in net? You're choosing Vasilevsky 10 times out of 10.
I agree.
That's my opinion. Sorokin 100%. He's so good. So like he plays kind of weird, but I really like him.
Unreal contract he just got.
I still think he should have won the best of this year.
Ooh. Wow, this is tough. I don't know. I really did like Andre this year, but he had a rough playoff run.
Saros.
I gotta include. Saros 100% best, most skilled goalie in the NHL.
Wow.
5. He's 5'11".
Yeah, he's 5'11".
He's 5'11" compared to every other goalie who's 6'4". He's by far the most skilled goalie in the league, and it's not even close. It's not even close.
That's my praise.
What that guy does is unbelievable. Yeah, and then Andre and Saros, but
Hellebuck.
I'm not gonna include him.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Aiden Hill?
Interesting contract.
I don't know.
It's only 2 years, so it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out.
Same thing as Bennington. I think it's just gonna be.
But Bennington was on a way longer contract.
Yeah, Bennington was like 5 years.
Like way longer.
Bennington was like 5x4.
So like, worst thing is Aiden Hill's contract doesn't work out after next year. It's only 1 year. They can dump it to someone if they need
What's
to.
crazy is Aiden Hill goes from being like basically Vegas' third string. His last game was in March, and then he started
in the second round, right?
And
too. It wasn't in the first round.
He wasn't even like an amazing NHL goalie. Like he just.
Do you think that Vegas
he just got the
team
confidence?
is better? We were talking about this like a couple weeks ago. How good is that Vegas team relative to the other, like the past couple winners?
I don't think nearly as good as a lot of.
Some people think that it's they're the best cup winners in the last like.
It's just
they're not beating either of the Tampa teams.
The finals have been really. Some of the recent finals have been really weird because it's been a team that barely makes the playoffs, and then their goalie just turns super hot and he fizzles out the finals.
Bob did.
Like what Bob did. Like you saw that with Carey Price.
Mm-hmm. That one out of nowhere Canadians team.
Yeah.
They finished bottom in the NHL the year after.
Yeah. Who won it last year?
Wait, hold on, the year after, is that when they...
Who won it last year?
Colorado.
Yeah, they're not that was probably the best. Or Tampa.
Those Pittsburgh teams were
those were
so
good too. The Caps won with probably one of the worst teams they actually put on the ice.
The Caps winning the Cup was one of the happiest days of my life. We were together for that at the hotel.
I think the Caps beating the Penguins, Kuznetsov.
Yeah, that was the happiest moment of my life. I was more excited for that than the Cup.
We were going to win the Cup after
every year for like 7 years, every time the Caps got to the second round, I would be like,
Loss.
if the Caps win the series, they're winning the Cup.
Yeah.
It's just like they just needed to break that barrier, that curse. Yeah, I remember when Kuznetsov slid that 5-hole, and I didn't think it went in, and I realized it was a goal
afterwards.
And I started freaking out. Like that had to been like the most hype moment.
One of the best calls in sports history.
Oh, for sure. This is it's a kind of funny story when the Caps won the Cup. Me and him and a few other guys, Cameron O'Neill was one of the people in the group. I remember our friend Alex Tilton was there. We were in Buffalo, I think it was, right, for a summer tournament.
Yep.
And we were watching Game 5 of the Caps and Knights in.
Oh, so you weren't even in the mean streets of DC?
No,
That was just
we were
me.
not in
Okay.
DC.
Sure.
We were in Buffalo, and we were watching this in the hotel room. It was just us kids in the room, and like in the last couple minutes when I think it was Smith Pelly scored one of the goals.
and then Eller.
Lars Eller.
Lars Eller scored a goal. We probably caused like every single noise complaint on the entire floor. They all probably called down to the hotel lobby. where, like, these kids have to stop
that third
screaming.
period was unbelievable.
No, it was pretty funny though when they won the cup. It was great.
But I guess before we wrap up, let's say I just want everyone to say like their top snack choice. I really want to get this down. I think I have to pick one snack that can only have one. Let's say only have one. Only have one.
But then,
Only one? Oh.
That's
but
what
then,
I'm saying.
like,
So
the question comes in.
Consistency matters.
The question.
I'm giving two.
The question becomes raised like, is pizza a snack?
No.
Is pizza a
No,
snack?
we're talking stuff that's in like a box.
Yeah, like go to
like
like a
ga-
five,
you go to
five
a
gas
gas station or
Yeah.
7-Eleven or Wawa or one of those. I'm gonna go. Listen, if we're gonna give two, I'm gonna go.
Give a candy and then like a chip or cracker. Do that.
Alright,
Let's
That's
do
fine.
I'm cool with that.
My chipper cracker, if I'm going to have one, it's gonna be Cheez-Its.
Yup.
Is me my
That's a
my
good one.
chipper cracker and a candy. I'm gonna go. You know the Starbursts that aren't inside the wrap and they're smaller.
Oh yeah,
and more
yeah,
chewy.
and they're only pink and yellow.
Yeah, so you don't have to unwrap. I hate unwrapping Starbursts, but like
Yeah.
the ones that are more chewy,
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
smaller,
yeah,
and you just bite like that.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
me my candy.
All right,
Really?
I'll
those are my
go
takes.
next. I just thought of it. My chip, my like savory snack would be like those Cape Cod kettle chips.
Those are really
good.
good.
Those are
really good.
Cape Cod kettle chips, salt and vinegar flavor.
You can't find those at a gas station.
Those are the best.
That's-
Yes,
Those
you
cost
can.
way too much.
When
Really
you're
expensive.
at a gas station driving to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, you're
not finding
you're not
Cape Cod.
finding Cape Cod chips.
And then my sweet thing. I'm a big chocolate guy. Like I really like chocolate. I don't really like the sugary, chewy stuff as much. Like Hershey's chocolate or like any type of chocolate.
Can't beat that.
I'll go for my chocolate. Again, I'm a huge chocolate guy. I'm a Kit Kat. A good Kit Kat
Yes,
is probably
I like
mine.
eat 2 pieces of chocolate and I'm done. man.
And then
Sick from it.
my cracker, probably flavor blasted goldfish. Has to be the flavor blasted. Those are mine. That's my go-to.
Yeah, for me, every time I'm in a gas station, every single time,
And you've been to a lot of gas stations.
I'm buying the sweet tart ropes.
Oh,
That's-
I got those today.
That's
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what
that
you're
is
talking
my
about.
go-to candy. So good. And then
I went to the deli in Potomac with him the other day. Like we both got sandwiches, got a drink, came in with like 3 pieces, like different things of candy or chips or
No,
whatever.
I
it was.
got what did I get?
Oh, let's hear it.
I think I got the Haribo peaches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what's your like chip one?
You gotta go-
savory?
extra toasty Cheez-Its.
Okay.
Extra toasty.
Yeah.
Those are unbelievable. Just depends on the day though. It's either those or the flavor blasted goldfish. But
For sure.
It's a tough call.
Yeah.
All right, well, dude, that was a really fun podcast.
Thank you.
That was
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
All right, guys, episode 2, Power Play Puck podcast. Stay tuned for the next video next week. Let's see how the rest of this stuff goes. See you later. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah,
Bye,
thanks,
Dan.
brother.
Peace.